Will higher airfares impact your spring-summer travel plans?
Yeah, it makes it a little more unaffordable than I can't afford it right now, so it's kind of too expensive for me. Just to even go to like Kelowna or Calgary, places like that, it's kind of too expensive right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have family that live in Toronto that I'm definitely not going to be seeing for a while with the cost of airfare. So just even international flights are probably out of the question for this year too, but I'd say it's definitely impacting for my family anyway.
It's a nightmare. And I mean, the flights out of Regina are insanely crowded and overpriced, and it's a huge hamper on everything.
So in what ways is it changing your travel plans?
Well, I was going to travel this summer for pleasure to go back to where my dad's from in Europe, and I can't do that now because of the flight costs. It's $1,000 more than it was when I planned it in the fall. So, yeah.
No, they won't. I managed to book this year, but in the future, probably yes.
You said you have looked at prices lately. What have you seen?
Increases everywhere, especially for like seasonal busy seasons like Christmas, for example. I chose not to fly to see my parents in Calgary because it was too expensive. So, yeah.
And that's just a little flight.
Yeah, but it cost almost $1,000 round trip, so.
I don't travel a lot, but I used to, because of my work, I have to go to the Kelowna and some other places. And I notice if you have to go from Winnipeg to Toronto, which is not that long, it's just a 2-hour flight, you have to pay around $200, which is expensive. A common folk like me sometimes can't afford that. Now the summer is coming up, and I think the prices will go up because people will go on a vacations, but regular people like me can't afford that rate. So
Yeah, I think the higher airline prices we see will affect everybody. I mean, I've had the privilege of traveling across the country and seeing different cities in Canada, but it would be a lot more difficult now to do that, simply because it's just more expensive, man. Like, it's just crazy for some things. So I think it would be more difficult for people to travel.
I think higher airfares absolutely will impact it. I noticed that a lot of the budget airlines are going out of business now and stuff, and it's going back to the ridiculous monopoly they have on expensive air flights. Like you can fly from Winnipeg down to the US and then to a tropical place for cheaper than you can fly from Winnipeg to Vancouver. I don't understand it.
The airfares, definitely. I actually I had gone somewhere to Africa actually not long ago, and the prices were completely double the price of what you normally spend. So there was a lot of things I couldn't do once I got there because everything was so expensive,
So we have noticed that. We used to travel quite frequently. When I dance for Folklorama. Our dance group actually travels every May, and we travel across Canada. And even last year, I was like, "This is crazy." So I actually ended up driving to Edmonton rather than flying because it made more sense.
Yes. How? Increased cost.
So does that mean you're not going to go, or you?
I like to travel, so I'll still go, but I will cut down on other things to make up for that, because that's important to me.
For me, I just this week actually booked a flight, but instead of taking my luggage on, what you have to pay extra for, I'm doing carry-on. That's my way of saving, because I don't want to give up travel.
Probably. Oh no. Especially now, she just turned 2, so we have another one, so it's 4 plane tickets. So any increase in the airfare is kind of noticeable.
Yes, actually they did. I have a trip myself booked for the summer, but I actually had to take a second look at the options for me because, quite frankly, I almost didn't go on my vacation because of the rising costs. It was cheaper to stay here than to spend almost $7,000 or $8,000 on my trip just for accommodations and airfare alone.
Yes, actually, we usually travel. We go back home in Europe, and this year we are going, but it's double the price than what was it last year. So yeah, it was more expensive, so we can't shop as much because we have to save for the air trip.
Probably not,
Why would you say that?
because we don't fly.
Yes and no. I mean, you just pay it. You decide you want to do it and you pay it. But it's not great. But yeah, I don't think it will. Yeah.
And you?
Probably not because we're not flying anywhere recently, but we drive.
I don't think they will. I think if I'm inclined to fly somewhere, I'll probably pay what it costs. I just won't be happy about it. But I think I have the luxury of being able to do so. Not everybody does, and I think it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, sure, it does. Yeah, we travel less now. We prefer, we prefer to travel within like the province or instead of outside. Yeah, sure.
Anything to add?
Yeah, for sure. It's not only us. Like I think, like most people, especially like with everything that's happening with our salaries and the inflation, this was the cherry on top.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I haven't traveled much since the pandemic, and I've heard that prices have gone up. So if you want to go to Europe, for example, it's like $1,700 versus the old days when it was like $800 or $900. So I don't plan on going anywhere unless I were to, build my own plane or a hot air balloon or something. But no, I'm doing mostly just driving trips on the ground.